Namaskar. Welcome to the 100 century Shatak 100th episode of Conversations with Rakesh. As you can see, I'm super excited and I should be because when I started this entire episode 100 weeks ago, I never thought I'll make it. I probably didn't even have a plan to reach 100 and I don't think I deserve any of the credit. The entire credit comes from you because you kept it going. I started with a simple idea that I'm going to let my learners and my audiences ask me questions because I wanted to make those questions available to anyone who wants to learn how to speak. And the questions kept coming because of all of you. We took taking them, we kept working on them, and we have touched the 100th episode of Conversations with Rakesh. Today is also a day where I want to express my sincere gratitude to you all who made it possible. My team, because of them, this entire effort has become better and better and better. My colleague Gayatri, who has put her heart and soul into this initiative and many of our other initiatives. My other colleague Urmila, learned how to edit videos from a scratch and picked up all kinds of tips and techniques from here and there and produces amazing results. My other colleague Rahul, who helped us fine tune our images and the posters that we make on this initiative. My entire team who watches it forwards it to their communities and learners and connect with us. All my learners around the world who have been constantly writing to us with their comments, views, feedback, questions. And to me, my family and my almighty, thank you very much. I really am very grateful and this wouldn't have been possible without you. I remember the first episode we did was on, audio mic connected to my lapel. I took my cell phone. The cell phone had problems because it kind of, when you shoot the cell phone's camera, the images behind were ulta. And I'm like, oh God, now what do we do? So we did whatever we could. My other colleague, Ruben, came down with his camera and called up his sister, who's a movie maker. She gave some tips to us. And then that's how we grew the initiative. We were terrible in the beginning. We're getting better and we will still get better as we go forward. Another colleague of mine, Arun and Gayatri, found this amazing mic that you see. You may not see, but you may have seen a small little thing coming out. And this is right here. I'll show it to you. This little mic here. And it added the audio quality because many of our listeners would say, sir, the audio is not good because the sound would echo. Then we had problems with lighting. We still have problems with ambient sound, but we are getting there. So, the journey has been very meaningful. This process of thinking, taking your question, researching, and making a video has made me a better person. It makes me reflect a lot. And to give you a perspective, our entire focus is on how to help all of us communicate better. This act of communication to others and to oneself is the central pillar of making our lives better. This subject is an infinite subject. Now, you can't communicate without other five C's. You have to be confident. It comes in your body and the way you think and the way you express yourself. And the other people perceive you with your confidence. And the communication can have an impact because of this confidence problem. You cannot communicate without confidence if you do not have material masala up there. So curiosity, you have to really research, read, observe, and that's where curiosity comes in. Once you have all the information, you have to process it critically, and that's creativity. And how do you apply this subject comes in working with others, which is collaboration. And finally, demonstrating your competence. That's where the world comes in, and the world will give you opportunities to do better, which is your competence. You have to take decisions, you have to connect, you have to solve, you have to demonstrate your impact on the world, and that's where your competence comes in. So communication is a central pillar. All the other five C's are connected to it, important, and this is how we work at School of Meaningful Experiences. Your questions have been phenomenal. Keep them coming. And in today's video, we thought we'll take 10 of your questions. So we asked all our learners, they sent many questions. We have taken 10 out of them. I have time to do 5 today, and I'll do 5 in the 101, the 101st episode next week. So let me get going. And before that, I must also tell you how the videos impact all our learners. So I get amazing comments from learners. So I'll kind of read few of them. Here is a comment from someone who's pursuing management studies in Greater Noida. He says, "Sir, I keep watching your videos continuously. Your videos have given me courage." What a beautiful sentence. It makes me feel so happy. Another viewer says, he wishes me on Dashera. We did a video on how festivals are very important. And he says, thank you for all the positivity. Another viewer says, every time I get a new insight from you, I use it in my job. Thank you, sir. Somebody says, I love your teaching. Thank you so much. One listener actually commented that, sir, the video quality is not good. Please invest in a good mic. And we did. I hope the audio, sorry, not video quality, audio quality. I hope the audio quality is better. One of our viewers consistently watches our videos and makes very good comments. She says that I have been missing your videos, but I have it in my mind to read it or view it. And I learned phrases from your videos. Like she says that I learned how to use the phrase that you use, that I don't subscribe to your view. And she's used it in her work. And I find this very gratifying. Besides this, every few days I get an email that, sir, I watched this video. I don't agree with this. I have a question here. Or I use this technique in my job and my work and my studies and my opportunities around me. And I found some very interesting results. That's very gratifying. And the most important, I must tell you, that when I travel, I meet people who come to me like you, who have watched my videos, and I just love it. The best thing that happened was last year I was in a city and I was having a cup of chai. It was raining. It was a small tapri, and one small student comes to me and says, I watched your videos, and brings that small student, I think maybe in class 9th or 10th, brought her parents, and they said that they have watched my videos, and I felt so happy. I was walking in another city for an evening walk, and a very nice student came to me running, calls all her students, and they all take selfies with me. I walk into a company these days for my work, and somebody says that I've seen your video and it has helped me a lot. And this helps me a lot. I enjoy the attention. I don't deserve it, but I feel very happy that you're all there. So once again, from all of us at School of Meaningful Experiences, thank you for all the love, all the kindness, and all the attention you shower us. Please give your questions to us. We'll take them. We'll keep your identity confidential. That's our promise. We believe in it, but we'll take a good time to research it and come up with more and more videos from you. And once again, to all my team, Gayatri, Urmi, Rahul, Arun, Ruben, all my team members at School of Meaningful Experiences, I wish I could take everybody's name, and all my extended partners and all of my learners, viewers, thank you very much. So let's get into today's topic. We have 10 questions. I'm going to take 5 questions today, and I'll quickly respond in like a rapid question and answer session. And I have time for 5 today, 5 next week. Here's question number 1. I feel people get bored talking to me. How do I communicate in a manner that is interesting and catches the listener's attention? When you are in a conversation, remember it's a connection between two people. So the first thing you must do is make your non-verbals very mindful. Look into the eyes of the other person, make your face as pleasant as possible, because that's where the interest comes from. And avoid too much of animated movements. Little respectful eye contact, a smile, and attention is very important. Your voice, don't speak too fast, slow down. That's very critical for the other person. And third is, make sure the conversation is about a topic that both of you enjoy, and say something little, listen more, let the other person talk more. This whole conversation is an art. So it's not about you talking and giving one gyan. It's about making the other person also enjoy the moment, making them talk a little, and you listen. And when you talk, you make them listen by something very interesting. So try these simple techniques, get your non-verbals right, choose a topic which is of interest to both of you, and give your conversations this depth so that the other person enjoys listening, and when they respond and talk, you listen, and that's where the connection happens, and you'll become at least a little bit better in your connections, and you'll become interesting. Avoid impressing people. Have conversations to connect and build trust. So that's my request to all of you. Question number 2. What are the essential do's and don'ts of networking? Um, I can start with the don'ts of networking, because this is something we all know. We don't like it when somebody calls us and says, "Yaar, mera ek kaam kar dena." And the person only calls when they need something. That is a don't of networking. So all of you, I know it's hard market out there. Jobs are, being cut. So you need help, and you would want to reach out to people for help. But that is not networking. That's a don't. I think you must first look at the do's of networking, that a network is like a bank balance. Invest something in the balance of that bank. Give that person time, give them respect, give some value to them, help them. And once your bank balance increases, that's when you ask for help. So networking is not about exchanging business cards and phone numbers. That's also a don't. Networking is knowing the other person, giving them something, increasing your trust with the person, and then encashing it when time is appropriate. And you don't encash all the time, you replenish it. And that's the do's and don'ts of networking. So step number 1, invest time in that relationship. Step number 2, treat this relationship like a bank balance. The more it has, the better it is for you. And give something to add more value to this bank balance. And 3, when you take something from this, please replenish it. And the don'ts are, don't call people when you only need them. Call them for other times also. Respect their time. Give them the respect and the humility that they deserve. And those are the ways you can work on your networking skills. So hope this helps you. Let's go to the question number 3. My presentations tend to be dull, and I often see my audience yawning or looking disinterested. Is there a framework or rule that I can follow to give strong presentations? Very deep question. The answer is stories. Now, storytelling is not easy. It requires a little bit of research, carving the story in the right way, and making sure it is relevant for your audience. So if your presentation is coming up, find a good example which can be converted to a story. And in a story, list down the place, time, details, and the protagonist very well, and connect it to the objective of your presentation. And remember, do it for about, let's say if your presentation is 100%, 25% in stories. And the story has to be relevant. And please don't choose stories from WhatsApp and very commonly used stories. This is where your research comes in. This is where you need to read a lot and find the right story. And when you tell a story, you have to behave like a storyteller. So your eyes, face, hands, energy, you have to connect with that. And when you do that, you have to speak very slowly, because stories take time. Sorry, my throat is acting funny. This happens in presentations. This is where you apologize, take 5 seconds and start all over again. So coming to stories, make your stories relevant, become a good storyteller, and don't overload. 25% of your presentations and stories is good. And use your data examples to convert them to stories. Because if you are going to go full on in storytelling, that's like Mount Everest. Don't climb Mount Everest on day 1. Go to a small hill, Nandi Hills. Let's do Nandi Hills first. become very good at it, and then go to higher and higher mountains as we go forward. So this is how you become a little bit better and more interesting in presentations. Question number 4. I stammer when speaking to my seniors and become very conscious. How do I overcome this problem? Let's break this question down. Stammering comes when you are nervous, unless there is a neurological impairment or some other psychiatric issue, which you probably should consult with a doctor, or a linguistic problem or a speech problem. There is a problem sometimes many of us have, could be a disability also. So please consult an expert on that. But let's look at your question. Your boss is in front of you, you're nervous and you stammer. Happens. Because you're nervous, you want to impress this person, you want to get your work done, and there's a lot of issues going on. So this is where there is only 2 things you can do. One is practice a lot. Simulate this time when your boss is in front of you and you have to present and talk. So practice helps. And number 2, please increase your self-esteem and self-confidence. Do not try to impress people. Do not try to win all the time. I think the problem is that you feel that if I have to be in front of my boss, मुझे तो बस मतलब फोड़ना है और सब कुछ करना है, and I should get the promotion. Please don't do that. This is performance anxiety. I think reduce your expectations. Go and talk to your boss, do your job well, and build your confidence. And slow down. If you slow down, your stammering problem will be a lot much better to resolve. Last question for today's episode. How to deal with lazy and uncooperative teammates as a manager without losing my positivity and productivity? My dear friend, whoever has asked this question, I think you as a manager have to be very positive and productive. And there are all kinds of people in your team. You know, वो एक कहावत है कि ये पांचों उंगलियां बराबर नहीं होती, but ये पांचों उंगलियां मुट्ठी बनाती हैं. So every team member has a place. You have to make them come together. So if somebody is lazy, unproductive, I think there is something you need to invest time on. This is where your role as a manager goes beyond management. I think you have to become a coach to your employees, and you have to be very careful with these things. A safe environment is very important. Second, you should not talk about this conversation in anybody else, because that person will trust you. And once you create that environment, I think you have to ask this person upfront, your work is unproductive. I notice that you are spending a lot of time doing unproductive things. What's going on? You have to be assertive and let the person open up. Because if the environment is safe and this person knows that this is the time to speak, I think they will open up. And there could be the problems they are facing. Maybe there's something going on in their relationship. Maybe they are worried about something. Maybe they are going through a health crisis. They will open up, but give them time. And if you give them time, they'll tell you what's going on. Then comes your managerial role, that see if you can help this person and guide this person towards becoming productive. But if it is becoming a consistent problem, then I have a feeling you have to become an administrator and take some harsh step. Maybe a performance warning. Sometimes warning and performance warnings do miracles to employees. Even to me, I received many performance warnings. Even in my classes, I get feedback from students. It's a warning. So all these things can be very useful for you. So on that note, we'll end today's conversation, the 100th episode. And in the next 101st episode, we'll take 5 more questions. And I want to thank each and every one of you for all the time, love, questions, feedback, comments that you are sending us. Keep them coming. Send us your questions and we'll take them very seriously. And on that note, stay safe.